The universe is not random. It runs on law. And once you understand that law, not as a philosophy, but as physics, everything about how you move through the world changes. The masculine contains the feminine, so she can run deep and fast and generate everything that life requires. That is the law. That is the original design. Love is not the decoration on the polarity. It is the force that makes the polarity works. From the birds singing in the morning to a tree laying out its fruit, everything in nature is either absorbing love or radiating it. That is the mechanism. Your exterior 360 degree is the printout. The interior 360 degree is the machine that printed it. You do not force the world to bend. You align the interior. And the exterior has no choice but to follow. What you hold inside your 360 degree must eventually manifest outside of it. It cannot do otherwise. This is the architecture of reality. You become a magnet. Not for things you are chasing, for things that are already moving towards you, because the frequency you are broadcasting is the exact frequency they need to arrive. The universe stops being something you survive and starts being something you author. Love is the highest technological frequency available to a human being. This is the code that has always been the code. We have covered a lot of ground in this series. We have looked at the loop that keeps people stuck. We have looked at the 360-degree boundary and why most anxiety does not even belong to you. We have looked at how the masculine and feminine are supposed to work together, the law of polarity, and what goes wrong when the masculine forgets its purpose. And I know that some of those episodes were heavy. They were supposed to be. Because you cannot build the solution until you have named the problem clearly. But today we turn. Today I want to show you the original design, not what went wrong, what was always supposed to happen. And follow me here, because this is where the series moves from diagnosis into architecture. The universe is not random. It runs on law. And once you understand that law, not as a philosophy, but as physics, everything about how you move through the world changes. This is episode 20. This is the magnetic 360. Let me start with a law itself. And I want to make it very simple because it is one of those things that sounds complex until you see it. And then you cannot see it. The law of polarity. Polarity. Everything in existence operates through two opposing forces, not fighting each other, completing each other. North and south in a magnet. Positive and negative in electricity. Day and night. Expansion and contraction. Inhale and exhale. The universe does not run on one force. It runs on the tension between the two. And that tension, that polarity, is what creates movement, what creates energy, what creates life. And within human existence, the most fundamental expression of that law is the masculine and the feminine. Now, hear me on this. I'm not talking about men and women. I'm talking about two energies that exist inside every human being and exist between human beings and exist in cosmos itself. The masculine, the stable structure, the ground, the stillness, the direction, the force that holds. The feminine, the dynamic energy, the flow, the creation, the movement, the force that generates, that creates. These two energies need each other the way a river needs its banks. Without the banks, the river spreads and loses all its power, becomes shallow, becomes still. Without the river, the banks are just dry land. The masculine contains the feminine so she can run deep and fast and generate everything that life requires. That is the law. That is the original design. Now here is the part that took me a long time to understand, and I want to say it carefully because I think it is the most important thing in this entire series. The question is, why does polarity exist at all? Why do the masculine and feminine pull towards each other? What is the force behind the pull? Think about this for a second. A magnet does not choose to attract. It attracts because of what it is, because of its nature, because of the frequency it operates at. So what is the frequency that makes the masculine and feminine pull toward each other? What is it? What makes the tree push nutritions into its fruit? What makes the bird sing at the sunrise? Not because someone told it, not because it calculated a benefit, but because something in its nature is radiating outwards, giving, expressing, contributing. That force has a name. And I know this word has been reduced, romanticized, weakened, turned into a greeting card. But follow me here, because I'm not using it that way. The force behind polarity is love, not the emotion, the mathematics. Love, as I understand it, is the language of the universe. It is the frequency that is fundamental at which existence communicates with itself. It is not something you fall into. It is something you either align with or you do not. From the birds singing in the morning to a tree laying out its fruit, everything in nature is either absorbing love or radiating it. This is not poetic. That is the mechanism. The masculine provides ground out of love. The feminine opens and creates out of love. Their union generates out of love. The child that comes from that union enters a world already vibrating at that frequency. When love is removed from the polarity, when the masculine provides ground out of obligation or control or fear, the pull disappears. The magnetism dies. The feminine cannot open to something that is not radiating the right frequency. She feels the difference immediately, not intellectually, in her body, in her safety, in whether or not she can be fully herself in that presence. Love is not the decoration on the polarity. It is the force that makes the polarity works. And now, this is where I want to take you, somewhere that changes how you see your own life. Not the polarity between two people, the polarity inside you. Because this is where the architecture of reality becomes personal. In an earlier episode, we talked about the 360-degree law. Link of that video will be up there somewhere. The boundary of your real universe, everything within your 360-degree yours, everything outside it, zero control. I want you to now apply that same understanding inwards, because you have an exterior 360 degrees, the people, the circumstances, the world around you, but you also have an interior 360 degrees, the inner universe, the world that lives inside you, your thoughts, your dominant feelings, your emotional frequency you carry as your resting state. The assumptions you hold about yourself without even noticing you hold. And here is the cosmic law that connects them, the one we established in episode 12. There is no difference between the universe inside you and the existence that manifests around you. They are the same system. The outer world is always reflecting the inner state. Your exterior 360 degree is the printout. The interior 360 degree is the machine that printed it. Which means this: if you want to change what your exterior 360 degrees produces, the relationships, the opportunities, the circumstances, the work is not out there. The work is in here. You do not force the world to bend. You align the interior. And the exterior has no choice but to follow. The interior 360 degree is the most powerful territory you will ever govern. Not because it controls other people, it does not, but because it sets the frequency at which you broadcast into the world. And the world responds to that frequency, not randomly, not occasionally, inevitably. Because that is the law. And the law does not have off days. So how do you actually work with this? Let me make this practical, because I know what you are thinking right now. This sounds good, but what do I actually do? Here is what I have decoded. Your thoughts are not just thoughts. They are energetic frequencies, and most people treat them like passing weather, something that happens to them, not something they architect. But when a thought is held, when it is sustained, when it is supported by the structure of the masculine and fueled by the emotional energy of the feminine and magnetized by the frequency of love, it becomes something entirely different. It becomes a broadcast. Think about a radio tower. The tower does not shout. It does not chase the signal to your car. It simply broadcasts on a specific frequency. And every receiver tuned to that frequency picks it up automatically, without effort, without force. You are that tower. Your predominant mental attitude, the thought you return to most, the emotional state you rest in, the frequency that is always running in the background, that is your broadcast. And the law of this universe is absolute. Like attracts like. What you broadcast at the level of your interior 360 degrees, the conditions, the people, and the reality that corresponds to that frequency will inevitably arrive in your exterior 360 degree, not as a magic, as physics. Now here is where most people make the mistake. They try to manage the outer world by leaving the interior 360 degrees unguarded. They wake up in the morning and immediately let the exterior world set the parameters of the interior one. The news, the notifications, someone else's anxiety, someone else's opinion of them. And within minutes of opening their eyes. Their interior 360-degree is full of frequencies they never chose. And then they wonder why the day produces more of the same. The interior 360-degree is not self-managed. Left unguarded, it fills with whatever the exterior world pours into it. Fear, compassion, noise, lack, and then it broadcasts those frequencies outwards. And the exterior world responds in kind. This is not bad luck. This is the law running exactly as designed, but on the wrong parameters. So the real work is setting the parameters of your interior 360-degree before the exterior world gets to them. And I want to be very specific about what that means, because this is not about positive thinking. I'm not asking you to pretend. I'm asking you to architect. Here is the framework. Inside you, right now, are both energies. The masculine energy, your focus, your structure, your discipline, the part of you that holds, that directs, that decides where the attention goes, and the feminine energy, your desire, your emotion, your intuition, the part of you that feels the pull towards what you are actually here to create. Most people have one of these running and the other ignored. The man who is all structure and no desire builds a life that is technically correct and emotionally empty. The person who is all desire and no structure feels everything deeply and produces very little of it. The interior 360-degree is fully magnetized only when both are present. When the masculine structure of your mind holds the feminine desire of your heart in the frequency of love, you become a magnet. Not for things you are chasing, for things that are already moving towards you, because the frequency you are broadcasting is the exact frequency they need to arrive. The vibrations of mental forces are the finest and consequently the most powerful forces in existence. What you hold inside your 360-degree must eventually manifest outside of it. It cannot do otherwise. This is not a belief system. This is the architecture of reality. Follow the parameters of your interior 360-degree. Lock your inner masculine and your inner feminine into the frequency of love. Hold the vision with the structure of the masculine. Feel it with the full emotional truth of the feminine, and let the universe, which was always designed to respond to this exact combination, bring what the frequency commands. You do not chase the outer world. You align the inner one. And what is aligned inside must appear outside every time. Everything we have covered in this series has been building to this. The loop that was keeping you stuck, that was the exterior world setting the parameters of your interior one. The 360-degree boundary that was learning to protect the exterior universe. The masculine and feminine understanding that was recognizing the two energies and what they are each for. And now this, the interior 360-degree, the final piece. The understanding that the outer world is not something that happens to you. It is something your inner world produces, and you have more authority over that inner universe, over that inner world, than anything or anyone outside you has ever had. You were not put here to be battered by the universe. You were put here to master the physics of it. Love is not a weakness. It is the highest technological frequency available to a human being. When you align the polarity inside you, your inner masculine and your inner feminine held together by love, and you set the parameters of your interior 360-degree into the frequency of what you are commanding, the universe stops being something you survive and starts being something you author. This is the code that has always been the code. Share this video with someone who is working hard and wondering why the right things are not arriving, because the answer is almost never out there. It is in here, and this might be the moment they finally understand where to look. This was never an advice. This is the code. See you at sunrise.